One of these days, I'm gonna do my hair before making one of these videos. But today is not that day. Welcome back to my happy place. So the response to the first video was really overwhelmingly good. And I want to thank everyone who liked and subscribed and commented really nice things. That you signed up for this shit, so here we go. And there's the first curse of this show. I figured I would start off the actual content of this channel with my best story ever, because I feel like if I start at the highest possible point that I have already, then I'm forced to actually be creative and come up with actual content in the future. So here it is. Here's the best story I have. This is as good as it gets. When I was 18, my parents shipped me off to Israel for a year. During this gap year in the program that I was in, we did a week in Poland, and the point of that was to explore Holocaust sites. The tour itself was miserable, in part because you're visiting grave sites, a lot of grave sites, and then also because it was -5 degrees every day, and we were out 18 hours a day, pretty much outdoors the entire time in open fields. So miserable, really, really miserable. And it's Poland in December. I don't recommend it. So we had ways of coping, one of which was getting really into Polish pop music, which is a thing, and I highly recommend it to anyone who has not delved into that particular vein of entertainment. Because, okay, I'm gonna put a link in the description. My Slavania. It's a song that was apparently made for Eurovision, but I think was banned because it was too pornographic. And I'm going to leave it at that, and you guys can go and watch it if you want. So we entertained ourselves like that, but by the end of the week, we were exhausted emotionally and physically. So it came to a point where we were like, we should probably cut loose. We deserve it at this point. And it was facilitated by the fact that our flight was delayed by a day. And the rabbi/chaperone of the trip kind of went, do whatever you want for this last night, guys. And we were in a hotel near an airport, which is miles away from civilization. So I assume he figured we wouldn't really do anything. But me and about 7 friends were like, you know what, we got one free night in Poland. Let's try to make something happen. So we walked about 2 or 3 miles down a highway to a gas station. One of our friends spoke Russian, so he was able to actually kind of get a little bit of a conversation going with the clerk at the place, and we were able to buy some alcohol. And by some alcohol, I mean probably too much alcohol. I'm gonna fast forward this part of the story because this part of the story drags on a little bit. We walked back, drinking a little bit, and while we were crossing the road to get right in front of the hotel, we got stopped by a policeman, not for drinking, but for jaywalking. We had to give all of our information to the police officer. So I have a criminal record in Poland, but that's not the fun part of the story. We drank in one of the rooms until about 4 a.m. 4 a.m. is when my story begins, my part of the story, because my friend led me to our room, because I am, at this point, destroyed. I finished half a bottle of whiskey with my friend. I apparently, don't remember doing this, finished off everyone else's beers. I've had plenty. So my friend leads us to the room where we're staying. And just so this part of the story makes a little more sense, I have to explain that this guy's name is Shy. That's the name of this person. And Shy is the sweetest, kindest soul you'll ever meet, but he is, in fact, conveniently, shy. Shy is shy. And so he gets me back to the room, and I immediately get naked because I am beyond drunk at this point. And I in my drunken state, I'm going to take a shower. Is what I'm going to do. I walk into the bathroom. I pop my head out. And I'm like, Shy? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I love you. He's like, I know. I'm like, okay, good. Walk back in the bathroom. And then I pop my head back out a second later, and I'm like, because you don't say much, but I love you. He's like, okay, thank you. And I'm like, all right. And I walk back in the bathroom. And that's where my memory of the night ends. I remember since then a flash of throwing up in the shower. I didn't remember that at the time at all. Shy apparently cleaned that up. I found that out way later, that Shy cleaned that up. So Shy's a really good guy. I wake up the next morning to my rabbi shaking me, being like, Zach, we gotta go. Plane's leaving soon. And the first thing I realize is that I'm still drunk. Like, very drunk. And then the next thing I realize is that I am naked. I never put on clothes. And there was a towel strewn over me, but like strewn over me very, like, I did not put it there. So basically, that rabbi has seen the best and the worst of me. Mostly the worst, I would argue. I'm facing face up, by the way. I want to be clear. He saw everything. Anyways, so he shakes me awake. Remember, like 2 hours, I've slept like 2 hours. So there's not nearly enough time to sober up at all. And I stumble out of bed and I pull on some underwear. By God's grace, I find the rest of my clothes and manage to pack up and run out the door. The people on the bus were apparently, like, because they've been waiting for like 15 minutes, they were planning on ragging on me for making them wait. And when I showed up to the bus, they all just collectively agreed that, you know what, maybe he suffered enough for the night, because I looked destroyed. Like, I looked just like the most miserable portrait of a human being that you can possibly find. And so the bus goes, and it's like a 15-minute drive, and I'm sitting there and I'm holding a bottle of water, but I'm not drinking it because I'm too, like, I'm at that point where, like, you're still drunk, but you're very sick. Like, you're like in that like mid-fun range, like the best part of the drunk. We get to the airport and I'm holding this water and I'm just like focusing. I'm focused. I'm focused on not just combusting. and we get to the airport and we get on the check-in line, and I'm standing there next to Shai again, and I turn to Shai and I'm like, Shai, I'm gonna throw up. And he goes, oh, okay. There's a bathroom, and he points right over there. And where he pointed was across the airport. Now, there was also a bathroom maybe like 20 feet behind us, but he didn't see it. And I don't blame him for that. I wasn't looking for another bathroom at the time. I'm like, I see a bathroom. It's like a 2-minute walk away, but you know what? That's a beeline for that bathroom. But I gotta look natural because, again, I'm trying to play it off like I'm at least somewhat sober. I'm trying to play this off. So I start walking, and I'm walking at like a hurried pace, but like not running. I'm like power walking. And as I'm power walking, I power walk right past my rabbi. He's like, Zach, are you okay? Or like calls out to me, are you okay? And at that exact moment, my stomach decides to void its contents into my mouth. But I'm a trooper. I don't go down that easy. Papa don't go down without a fight. So I held it in. I held it in my mouth. And he's like, Zach, are you okay? You sure? And I keep walking. But now I'm walking at a little more of a hurried pace because there's a sense of urgency now. But that sense of urgency leads to drawing a little bit of attention. And this attention came in the form of a Polish police officer armed with a very large weapon walking towards me, because somebody running in an airport in a very hurried fashion with the look of intent and urgency again on his face, puffing out his cheeks for some reason, it could be seen as a threat, I suppose. So he approaches me and he stops me, puts a hand out, and that's when the second wave hit, and I ruined the man's pants and shoes. I obliterated that man's shoes. I covered him. And my rabbi swooped in and basically said, like, oh, he must be dehydrated, even though the place like reeked of alcohol because I threw up pure alcohol on this man. So the guy was like 6'5" and like bald and like very clearly military. Yeah, so that's that story. Oh, I wasn't hungover because I threw up everything. I completely voided everything. I wasn't hungover at all over the flight home. I just slept a little bit because I only slept 2 hours the night before, and that was my story. That was the whole thing. It was great. It was a good time. Do it again. If you like this video, like, comment. This is what you're getting. Now, go away.